Hey everyone, welcome to This Explainer. Today, we're diving straight into what I like to call the iceberg of real estate. You know, those massive hidden closing costs just lurking beneath the surface of your down payment. Buying a home in Ontario is one of the biggest financial decisions most of us will ever make. But it's exactly the stuff you don't see coming that can completely wreck your budget. Let's get into it. Let's kick things off by comparing that highly visible down payment everyone always talks about with the sneaky hidden fees that catch buyers totally off guard the second they take ownership. We spend years obsessing over down payment percentages and mortgage rates, right? But the closing costs, the taxes, the legal fees, the adjustments are kind of treated as an afterthought. And as we're going to see today, ignoring them is a massive mistake. To really put the scale of this into perspective, let's look at a pretty realistic snapshot. Say you're buying an $850,000 home just outside of Toronto. You can easily rack up over $20,000 in closing expenses, $20,000. And remember, that money is due before you move a single box into the property. It's a huge shock if you haven't prepared for it. So to make sure you don't get blindsided, we're breaking this whole intimidating topic down into 4 manageable buckets: taxes and legal fees, insurance and inspections, adjustments and moving, and finally, preparing like a pro. Starting right off with bucket number 1, taxes and legal fees, the heavy hitters. What's absolutely crucial to understand here is that these are the largest non-negotiable costs you will face, and they are due in full on closing day. There is no financing these into your mortgage. You literally need the cash in the bank. The single largest closing cost for most Ontario buyers is the provincial land transfer tax. It works on a tiered system where the percentage scales right up alongside the purchase price of your property. It starts at 0.5% on the first $55,000, steps up to 1.5% in the mid-range, and climbs all the way up to 2.5% for single-family homes over $2 million. But here is a massive warning if you're looking to buy inside the city of Toronto specifically. For the privilege of living in the city proper, you're going to owe the provincial tax we just talked about, plus the Toronto Municipal Land Transfer Tax. Yep, you are effectively doubling your tax bill compared to buying in other GTA municipalities like Mississauga or Markham. Double. Okay, take a deep breath though. If you are a first-time buyer, there's actually some fantastic news. You can get some serious financial relief here. Eligible first-time buyers qualify for substantial government rebates, up to $4,000 off the Ontario tax and up to $4,475 off the Toronto municipal tax. So that definitely takes a big bite out of those heavy upfront costs. Moving on from taxes, you're definitely going to need a real estate lawyer to legally transfer the ownership. And their bill is actually split into 2 distinct parts. You've got the standard legal fees, which usually run between $1,000 and $2,500, but then you have disbursements. Think of disbursements as your lawyer's receipts for out-of-pocket expenses incurred on your behalf. Things like title searches, government registration fees, and admin charges. Those usually run anywhere from $300 to over $1,000, and the more complex your deal, the higher that final bill is going to be. All right, let's jump to Section 2, Insurance and Inspections, Protecting Your Asset. Spending a little bit of cash upfront here basically acts as a shield against outright disaster for your massive investment. Your lawyer will almost certainly tell you to get title insurance, and honestly, a lot of lenders make it mandatory anyway. It's a one-time fee, typically $250 to $600 paid right at closing. It protects you from terrifying high-cost issues like title fraud, errors in public records, unknown liens, or even certain zoning defects for as long as you own the home. For a fraction of a percent of the purchase price, it is absolute peace of mind. And similarly, while you don't strictly have to get one, a professional home inspection is quite literally the smartest few $100s you will ever spend. Ranging from $400 to $900, an inspection uncovers the stuff you can't see: dodgy electrical work, foundation cracks, or roof that's on its last legs. Finding that out now saves you thousands in unexpected repairs later, and it gives you the leverage to negotiate the price down or just walk away from a total money pit. Now, we really need to differentiate between the types of ongoing insurance you're going to need. First, there's mortgage default insurance through providers like CMHC. You have to get this if your down payment is under 20%. While it's usually rolled right into your mortgage balance instead of being a cash hit on closing day, it absolutely increases your total cost of ownership. Contrast that with standard home insurance, which covers hazards like fire, water damage, and liability. Lenders require you to have this fully set up before you even close. When you're budgeting for those annual home insurance premiums, keep in mind how the costs jump depending on the type of property you're buying. A condo might only run you $300 to $800 a year, but a detached home, that can easily set you back anywhere from $1,200 to well over $3,000 annually. You've got to bake those numbers into your monthly affordability math, not just your initial closing budget.
Okay, on to Section 3, adjustments and moving costs, the final details.
This is the rapid-fire stretch right before you get the keys, where things love to slip through the cracks. First up, property taxes. The city doesn't care that the house changed hands, they just want their money. So at closing, there's an adjustment made so everyone pays their fair share. If the seller already prepaid taxes for the months after you move in, you have to reimburse them for that. And considering a detached home in the GTA can cost upwards of $12,000 a year in property taxes, paying the seller back for a few months can easily mean thousands of dollars right out of your pocket on day one.
And it's not just property taxes. You really have to read your agreements closely so you aren't blindsided by other adjustments. You might have to pay the seller back for prepaid utilities, condo maintenance fees, or even the fuel oil left in the tank. And honestly, the biggest shock for a lot of buyers is realizing they just took over an expensive multi-year rental contract for a water heater or a furnace. You need to know exactly what you are assuming.
Also, let's not forget that the sheer excitement of moving day comes with its own hefty price tag. Let's be real, your friends are only going to haul boxes for pizza and beer so many times. You need a strict budget for professional movers, packing supplies, utility setup fees, and getting your internet installed. Plus, even if the house is pristine, you're going to want to change the locks, do a deep clean, and maybe do some minor painting right away. It all adds up fast.
Which brings us to our final section, preparing like a pro, your financial strategy.
So, with all of those terrifying numbers swirling around in your head, how do you actually prepare like a pro? How do you manage all these moving parts, the land transfer taxes, the lawyers, the prepaid adjustments, without completely going broke the second you get the keys? Well, to ensure a smooth transition, you need to execute these 4 specific steps. First, build a dedicated closing cost fund. Do not let your down payment completely wipe out your savings. Second, sit down with your realtor and your lawyer to get a rock-solid cost estimate before you even make an offer. Third, meticulously review every single assumed contract so no rental items or tax adjustments jump out at you. And fourth, always keep an emergency cash reserve. Ultimately, if you understand these hidden fees ahead of time, you transform what could be an overwhelming financial shock into an empowered, completely surprise-free move. Like the old saying goes, if you set aside a small reserve fund, an unexpected expense just becomes something that's already handled. So, as you gear up for your next real estate adventure, I want to leave you with this question. Are your finances truly ready for the full hidden cost of homeownership?